We are tracking the vision of Prime Minister Narendra Modi for a developed India by 2047. We are taking step-by-step look at states, those who have progressed, those who are on the path to progress, and the laggards also that haven't done that well as expected in the recent past. So keeping an eye on how India is paving its way towards a developed nation by 2047 is the mantra. So we are now, as I mentioned, the state that we are looking at as of now is Uttar Pradesh. Prime Minister Modi has emphasized various themes, including economic growth, technological advancement, inclusive development, infrastructure improvement, and international cooperation. And these themes align with the broader vision of India becoming a global leader in various sectors in the years to come. And in line with the efforts that are being made in this direction, as I mentioned, today we are taking a look at Uttar Pradesh, the most populous state in India, with a diverse cultural heritage and historical significance. It plays a pivotal role in India's socio-economic landscape as well. The state has a mixed economy, with agriculture, manufacturing and services sectors contributing significantly to its GDP. And the transformation of its status from a Bimaru state to an investment magnet is something that we are focusing at. But first, let's hear what the Prime Minister had to say at the investor summits that happened in February this year.
यूपी बीमारू राज कहलाता था। यहां आए दिन हजारों करोड़ के घोटाले होते थे। हर कोई यूपी से अपनी उम्मीदें छोड़ चुका था, लेकिन सिर्फ 5-6 साल के भीतर यूपी ने अपनी एक नई पहचान स्थापित कर ली है और डंके की चोट पर कर दी है। अब यूपी को सुशासन से, गुड गवर्नेंस से पहचाना जा रहा है। अब यूपी की पहचान बेहतर कानून व्यवस्था, शांति और स्थिरता के लिए है। अब यहां वेल्थ क्रिएटर्स के लिए नित्य नए अवसर बन रहे हैं।
उत्तर प्रदेश ने अपना ग्लोबल इन्वेस्टर समिट का आयोजन किया था। इन्वेस्टर समिट से वैश्विक व्यापारिक समुदाय से 40 देशों के प्रतिनिधियों ने उसमें प्रतिभाग किया था और उस पूरे आयोजन के दौरान उत्तर प्रदेश को 33,50,000 करोड़ रुपए से अधिक के निवेश के प्रस्ताव भी प्रदेश के अंदर प्राप्त हुए। इसके लिए हमें तकनीक को अपनाना पड़ा था, जिसमें प्रदेश के अंदर हम लोगों को किसी भी एमओयू की मॉनिटरिंग के लिए प्रदेश के अंदर हम लोगों ने निवेश सारथी के रूप में यहां पर अपना एक डिजिटल प्लेटफॉर्म तैयार किया। सिंगल विंडो की सुविधा उपलब्ध कराने के लिए निवेश मित्र के रूप में हमने यह सुविधा हर एक निवेशक को उपलब्ध करवाई और जो भी निवेशक प्रदेश के अंदर निवेश करे और निवेश की सफलता के बाद शासन से मिलने वाली, शासन की किसी भी पॉलिसी के अंतर्गत मिलने वाली इंसेंटिव को इंसेंटिव मॉनिटरिंग सिस्टम के माध्यम से हमने उन्हें एक प्लेटफॉर्म उपलब्ध कराया। आज परिणाम है उत्तर प्रदेश के अंदर व्यापक पैमाने पे निवेश हो रहा है और उत्तर प्रदेश आज अपने इस डिजिटल प्लेटफॉर्म के माध्यम से एक नई अर्थव्यवस्था के रूप में दुनिया के सामने अपने नागरिकों के और उत्तर प्रदेश को एक नई अर्थव्यवस्था के रूप में स्थापित करने की ओर तेजी के साथ अग्रसर हो रहा है।
And to discuss this in detail, we are joined by Shantanu Gupta, author and a political analyst. Shantanu has written books on UP Chief Minister Yogi Adityanath, the monk who became the Chief Minister, and Ajay to Yogi Adityanath. Welcome to the show, Shantanu. Obviously, Prime Minister's vision and Prime Minister's approach towards Uttar Pradesh, as we just heard, is something that is forward-looking, progressive, and has the potential that yes, we can deliver. How best do you see Uttar Pradesh fitting into that scheme of things?
I think Pankaj, Uttar Pradesh is the best example of double engine ki sarkar. And fortunately, even Prime Minister comes from Uttar Pradesh as a parliamentarian. And now we have a rock star Chief Minister in form of Yogi Adityanath ji. And we are seeing the visuals on your screen while I'm saying this, right? And I'll present it in form of some data points. In 2017, when Yogi Adityanath took the reins of the state, UP's ease of doing business ranking, right? It's a very important ranking to do business in the state, was somewhere around 13th, 14th, right? And no chief minister cared anything much about it. Today, UP is number 2 in ease of doing business ranking. UP, which is a large population, it contributes almost 16-17% to the population. Economy-wise, was 4th, 5th, even after having such large base, consumer base. Now it's second. There, and even social indicators, if I talk, there are 42 central government schemes where UP is number 1, right? During Corona time, when factories were shutting shops in China, the UP went ahead and attracted them. Point in case, the Samsung display screen. So, and Yogi Adityanath government went out of the way to make sure they get any whatever they want in Noida. And
Right.
Global Investment Summit, I myself spent all the 3 days there. It was looking like a privately run conference. There were 5 parallel rooms, multiple sessions. Principal secretaries were exchanging cards with the entrepreneurs, right? So UP, which was a mafia raj 6 years back, today is attracting investment like anything. So it has changed the face of UP in last 6 years, certainly.
Right. And, talking about the statistics, the numbers, if I may quote the Niti Aayog's report, Shantanu, National Multidimensional Poverty Index, a progress review report of 2023, between the years of 2015 and 2016 and 2019 and 2021, when a record 135 million people in India moved out of multidimensional poverty, Uttar Pradesh registered the largest decline in the number of poor people. What key aspects of the governance you would suggest that actually catapulted these numbers?
Yeah, Pankaj, I'll say 2 or 3 reasons. One is the affirmative schemes of Narendra Modi government, be it gas stove to PM Kisan scheme of 6,000 rupees to toilet, right? Which is like for the poorest of the poor, right? Earlier, they were not reaching. Before 2017, the schemes were started by Narendra Modi in 2014. But the poor performance, inefficient performance was earlier state governments. So that's why I said it's a pakka double engine government. So since 2017, UP is number 142 central government scheme. So that's one. Secondly, for increase the income, there is a scheme called ODOP, one district, one product. So
Right,
Yogi Adityanath identified one product per district, like be it the Kalins of Bhadoi or the sports goods of Meerut or the Kaach ka Saman or the glass goods of Firozabad, right? And try to provide a market to it, to training to it, to SEZs to it. These artisans are now coming from Noida Heart to Delhi Heart to various forums and going abroad, right? And this is giving grassroots employment without migration, right? And even Mudra scheme, any kind of loaning scheme from 50,000 to 5 lakh, which is intensively done in UP. So one very simple mantra which every state should follow beyond politics, right? Of which government is ruling, just cash on the amazing central government policies, right? And just implement them well and add on to it. In fact, right, you can add on to with your state government kitty. So I think these are the 2 reasons: ODOP, one district, one product, and implementing all the affirmative schemes of national central government effectively in the state, which helped UP to come out of the multidimensional poverty.
Right, indeed, Shantanu, I would agree here, be it the Talawalas of Aligarh or the glassware of Firozabad, as you mentioned. Obviously, these are some of the key aspects. Shantanu, help us understand, so far so good. Yahan tak to aa gaye hain. What next? How to sustain it and also create this space for the investors?
I'll tell you a very interesting anecdote, right? So, when I wrote my second book on UP's growth story, it came just before the election. The name of the book is The Monk Who Transformed Uttar Pradesh, right? And it was January of 2022 when the election was on his head, right? Like Some people were leaving party, joining party, campaigns were happening. I happened to meet the chief minister. And I asked him, like, I visited multiple states. Elections seem simple for you, and with my calculation, you are coming back. And he laughed. And I asked him, what will your focus in Yogi 2.0? Like, in your second tenure, what will you focus? This is January of 2022, Pankaj, when election was on our head.
Right, right.
Can you imagine what he told me? He told me, I will do anything to make UP a 1 trillion economy. This is his
Right.
thought process when election was on his head, right? And he became
1 trillion economy, absolutely.
1 trillion economy, and he wins the election. He was not even the chief minister, like he was the acting chief minister. He did not take oath for the office the second time, and his team floated the RFP for the consulting company for the 1 trillion economy consulting. And within 4 months, Deloitte was engaged after due diligence, and 100 people were placed in different departments, right?
Right.
Within 7 months, Yogi Adityanath created 10 teams with 2 ministers, 1 minister, cabinet rank officer, senior officers, consulting companies, 7-10 members sent to almost 16 different countries, from Australia to Japan to Korea to Europe to America to Canada. And they set up a target of 10 lakh crores. They came back with 17 lakh crores. By the time the GIS happened, the promises were worth almost 35 lakh crores, right? And in a very stylish fashion, in a drone show, that number was shown during the GIS. I was there, and the word was amazing. Is it the same UP which was known for giving inspiration to only Bollywood mafia movies? So it's a very different face of UP that we have seen in GIS, and the strong focus. I remember when the ministers came from all these foreign tours, right? The Yogi Adityanath called them, gave them 2 days and asked them to present their own slides without any consulting company, and tell which companies you met, what was the investment, and the meeting went all to 10 in the night, and then they only declared the number the next day, right? So I think it's a very focused state now. It's a very different Uttar Pradesh today.
Very different to Uttar Pradesh. Shantanu, stay with us, stay with us. We are joined by Gautam Mukherjee, senior journalist. Also, Gautam, we heard Prime Minister saying that Uttar Pradesh being a Bimaru state is a thing of past now. And as Shantanu also mentions, a totally different state altogether. What are the key changes and what are the key driving forces behind those changes in the last 5 to 6 years that has transformed Uttar Pradesh?
In the first term, first of all, it's remarkable that he has won a second term for only, in a very long time, 36 years since anybody won a second consecutive term. Well, Yogi's gone and done that. He's been in Parliament, I think, 7 consecutive terms representing Gorakhpur. I think term 1 was all about law and order in the main, and he succeeded very substantially in either eliminating a lot of what they call bad characters in police parlance, and showing off the rest who ran away to neighboring states so as not to be shot. Second term, I believe, is going to be all about creating that 1 trillion economy that he often speaks of. A lot of this is going to be via Atmanirbhar defense. I was reading just today about Deloitte, the consultancy firm, accounting firm, who have recommended that Lucknow should be an AI hub and Kanpur should be drones and such like. There'll be much other production of Atmanirbhar joint venture defense equipment, because that's very high value and guaranteed to sell to the armed forces, Indian armed forces, and possibly those from abroad. That it by itself will take it to 1 trillion.
Right.
It is a fantastic achievement. He has emerged in no uncertain terms as one of the strongest chief ministers ever.
Right, Gautam, stay with us. Obviously, talking about the crucial pandemic times, Shantanu, difficult times for all of us, for the whole country, and not just the country, but for the whole world. Again, picking up on the data that we have with us, as far as the number of income tax filers, returnees are concerned, from 1.6 lakh in June of 2014, 1.65 lakh, to 11.92 lakh in June of 2023. Significant jump in those who filed the income taxes, and also the revenue of the state also from 86,000 crore, and it grew to 147,000 crore in 21-22, roughly a 71% increase from 2016-2017. For a state like Uttar Pradesh, Shantanu, what is it that is actually driving it? Is it just the double engine sarkar? Is it the incessant focus on developing, as you mentioned, the anecdote that you said that during election time also he was focusing on 1 trillion economy? Or is it something else that is actually at play, which is guided by the leadership of the Chief Minister?
I think I'll add a couple of things. See, this is first time, I think, in the history of India that someone who's a 5-time parliamentarian, I'll just correct Gautamji a little bit, he was a 5-time parliamentarian for 19 years. Someone with such a rich experience became Chief Minister, right? And his IAS officer tells me that his sense of the budgetary process is amazing. So you can imagine he has been part of 19 budgetary process of the central government, whichever government it was, right? And he's a very active parliamentarian. His attendance throughout was 80%, 90%. He's asking questions, he's participating in debate, he's presenting private member bills as a member of parliament. So he understands the filing process, the whole bureaucratic process and the administrative process back of hand, right? So his legal knowledge and his administrative knowledge and his understanding of government budgetary process is amazing. That's one, right? I think first when he came to UP, he said, before even inviting investment, let me set 3 things right. One is law and order. If my state is not safe for money of industries and for employees, no one will come. So law and order has become one. Second thing, if they will come, they will need roads, right? They will need roads and flights and railways. So we work with railways for amazing connectivity. We have 25 connections in and out of UP, right? Air connection. Today we have 110 connections in and out of UP. Not double, not triple, more than 4 times, right? And expressways, like India is becoming, in fact, Narendra Modi told that UP is an expressway Pradesh, right? From Purvanchal Expressway to Bundelkhand Expressway, some mid expressways, working very closely with Nitin Gadkari's team for the NH, National Highways, and now the Ganga Expressway will be the second largest within a state expressway. Third thing is power. Power means the electricity, right? Because big industries will not run on gensets, right? So he made sure, work with Piyush Goyalji's earlier and then the later ministers, make sure UP is on buying power, whatever. So UP, which was on 16,000 megawatt, 17,000 megawatt, today is 27,000 megawatt, 28,000 megawatt, right? So these 3 things, law and order, connectivity, and power, right? He ensured these are like they set the basic ground so the industry can come easily and smoothly function in the state. So he did those enablers right in the first term.
All right, the enablers right. Gautam, before we come to the aspect of what other success examples, the states that we have, what UP can learn from it, could you please also share some light on what could be learned from UP governance model, if I may say so, because to turn a state, from what it was, say, 5 to 10 years ago, than to what it is, obviously, I think, deserves to be known to people and also to be imbibed by other states.
He may be a monk in robes, but in his handling of the law and order situation, he was totally even-handed. He smacked a Hindu gangster as hard as a Muslim one. In the implementation, and implementation is a very big aspect of Yogi's success, of various government programs, both state and central. Again, great even-handedness. This has endeared him certainly to the Hindus all over the country, but also to the Muslims. of UP who have seen that there is no bias in the man. He is doing something along the lines of what Narendra Modi wants for the whole country, Sabka Vikas, and he's implementing it. But he's like a strict headmaster. You step out of line, I get you. You are corrupt, you'll go to jail. For the entire country, on how to deal with vandalism, arson, and things of that order. So it's very good. He is a good administrator because he's able to hold together his ministries. There have been no dissidents to speak of.
Gautam.
You know, all of this put together, it's a multifaceted thing to run a state, and he seems to have come to it with a natural ability.
Natural knack to lead a state. Definitely point taken, Shantanu, Gautam there. Shantanu, you know, Gautam obviously mentioned it very clearly, you know, the co-optive federalism sort of approach, what, you know, can be learned. If I ask you, what is it that Uttar Pradesh can learn from, say, states like Karnataka, Gujarat, Maharashtra, Chhattisgarh, as far as, you know, the future perspective is concerned?
I think what Uttar Pradesh can learn from some of the manufacturing states, right? So Uttar Pradesh was a manufacturing state a couple of decades back, right? Kanpur and a couple of those places is considered the Manchester of the East, right? So I think Uttar Pradesh has to bring big level manufacturing back. It's coming, but it has to make even more rapid. I think that's one thing it has to learn from the Maharashtras and Gujarats and Tamil Nadus. And such kind of manufacturing which can engage large number of people, right? Which it did to a certain extent, but I think this is the one thing, manufacturing, that Uttar Pradesh should learn from other states. Yeah.
Right, Shantanu, before I let you go, I know that you are hard pressed on time. The point is here is, you know, when we talk about the challenges also that any state faces, be it the employment issues, be it the infrastructural gaps that we have. For a country like India, where obviously there are incentives to come and invest in India, we have seen so many initiatives being done. But do you believe that somehow this protectionism, the latent fear among the investors also is something that can be done to allay those fears on those lines? How best do you think Uttar Pradesh, being a role model, can attend to that?
I think I was part of the Global Investment Summit, and I personally got the chance to talk to the traditional entrepreneurs and the new age entrepreneurs. The UP houses 8 unicorns, right? And the way the GIS was conducted, the way every principal secretary, every secretary, every government official was acting like as if they are looking for investment. It's not that like it was just an event, right? I think that focus coming back to UP, and UP is a large state, large consumer state. A lot of HR pool is already available in UP. So if UP develops, I think it's a cosmos in itself. If it were to be a country, it's the fifth largest country in the world. That kind of population it holds. And now, apart from Noida, Greater Noida, other hubs are getting developed. Now there's a TCS in Banaras. There's a big center of TCS in Lucknow. More and more tech companies are coming because of defense nodes in Jhansi, Lucknow. Defense nodes are coming. Manufacturing is coming back to Gorakhpur, to Kanpur. I think now the multiple hubs of different kind of this large scale industries are coming up. And with ODOP, their internal, the product of the district is also getting flourished, right? I think now UP, which used to contribute only 5-6% to GDP, now almost contribute 9% of GDP to the national GDP, right? And this was, I was seeing the Yogi Adityanath's trouble from the very first day. Then when I contribute almost 16% of population to the national population, why I don't contribute the equal number to the GDP, right? And this number is rising, and which makes me as a UP wala very proud.
All right, we have that graphics on the screen also, which clearly shows the number. Uttar Pradesh as of now ranked 3rd as far as the contribution to the gross domestic product is concerned for the country, leading Maharashtra, Tamil Nadu, Uttar Pradesh, Karnataka and Gujarat. Gautam, talking about the challenges, talking about how to continue with this momentum, what can be done to ensure that this path to progress, this momentum endures the test of time and the longevity is there?
It's like reform itself. Once you put down the infrastructure, as has already been done by way of roads, by way of freight corridors, by way of various modernization of facilities, introduction, as Shantanu was saying, of electricity to every nook and cranny. This kind of thing has a momentum of its own. And when, rather than if, Yogi moves to the center, his successors will be able to take things forward, because a lot has been put down on the ground that didn't exist before. It empowers people, it enriches people, and that's how you go forward. Banaras is being transformed. Ayodhya, these are becoming huge tourist hubs. If Banaras is attracting 20 times as many tourists as Goa, you can understand the potential going forward. Ayodhya similarly. There are things that are happening that have never happened before, and they're all revenue generators. So
Right.
every expectation. Now, one thing, which is why, if you like, Tamil Nadu and Maharashtra are up there, is consistency when it comes to industry. You've got to leave these people alone. You cannot interfere with them politically. When UP went down, when West Bengal went down, it was because of political interference in industry, forcing people out of jobs, lockdowns, forcing companies to take people that you recommend. All this kind of thing can bring it all down. So consistency of a stable environment, no rent seeking, no holding people to ransom. If this is maintained,
Right.
then there's no looking back.
Right. Gautam, talking about the vision for a developed India in 2047, that is something that has found support from all the quarters, the political quarters, the business quarters. We saw even the opposition parties actually thumping in unison about, when it came to this particular vision of developed India. In this scenario, the vision that Prime Minister entails as of now, it is not just only about setting up big industries, but it is also about giving the the weakest person on the societal strata all the amenities and facilities that he deserves, that he has to get as an Indian. How big a challenge do you think this is as of now to make sure that not just India is developed by 2047, but the economic goals that is being set up, that is also being achieved? What key measures do you think the center should be taking?
It's that old adage, teach a man to fish and he will eat always. You give him a fish and he comes back for another one. Now, this is the challenge, that you do not revert to a sort of a Nehruvian socialism where you actually make a country of beggars and entitled people who expect to be fed and have no duties and have no ambition. Now, if that is the role model that is reverted to, so quite often when I look at opposition rhetoric, now if that happens, it'll be a disaster. We won't reach where we are going at all, 2047, or even 2147. In fact, we could end up as a Venezuela in no time. But if you indeed proceed on the basis that when you teach a man to fish, You empower him. It is up to him to use the facilities and the loans and the government, facilitations to keep growing. Now, if that is the methodology pursued, in addition to robust welfare that reaches the poorest of the poor, we are already projecting another doubling of per capita income by 2030. It's a profound effect.
Right.
When you juxtapose that with the growth in the economy, also to third position, and the fact that our PPP figures are already number 3 in the world. In other words, if you give an American $100,000, he's not going to be able to do very much with it. His costs are too high. If you give an Indian $100,000 in rupee, he could remake his entire life and go into a different orbit. So these things are very important. Which way you empower people? Do you turn them back into slaves of the My Baap Raj, or do you teach them how to grow on their own?
Growing on their own, very crucial here, Gautam, because talking about the Antyodaya, I mean that's what the definition in itself says. Reaching to the last person and giving what is desired, and it is delivered also to the last person in the societal fabric as well. Having said that, when it comes to agriculture, industry and services, these are some of the key aspects which Uttar Pradesh has been focusing a lot. Be it Noida, be it Kanpur, be it Greater Noida, hubs are being developed, IT hubs are being developed, health centers are coming up. In your opinion, as of now, from this point of view, is this a step in the right direction, or is it something that could have, delivered more in number, or has come just in time?
What happens is when you do the first bit, you are enabled to do the second bit. And when you do that, then maybe 5 other things can be done, because you've got the wherewithal created for you by the state to make that happen. So, while there has been a total transformation in terms of the UP of old, there is obviously a long way to go, not just to reach $1 trillion like it's an end all, but $1 trillion as a base, because if India is going to go to 10 trillion, you've got a scope to double that and treble that and become the #1 state, because resource-wise, there is very few to rival UP in terms of its resources, natural resources, both by way of people, land, topography, variety, and so on. It takes, today I was reading that 1,000 new Atal schools are being developed to a fairly high standard. It's going to cost many thousands of crores, but they are being launched. The idea being that, you teach a lot of people to a reasonable degree at the primary level, from class 6 to class 12, people who didn't have access or got thrown out and disrupted during COVID, and so on. So every aspect like this, health, education, the fundamental building blocks of a better quality citizen, because he has access to facilities, he has confidence in his future. These are things that are intangibles, but make for a developed country.
Right. Also, Gautam, when we talk about, investment opportunities, when we talk about an Atmanirbhar Bharat, both ways, the local artisans, the local talent that we have, be it once again the Talawalas of Aligarh or the glassware in Firozabad, Kanpur tanneries and everything, it calls for a very closer look as of now, because these professions and these artisans, are also following a family lineage. Do you believe that in order to sustain it, and not just sustain but also broaden it, the skill development is very important? How best this population can be used? So what in your view should be the approach towards skill development?
Well, bring in the talent. I mean, if I'm making crystalware, I need to bring in the kind of people who make the best crystalware in the world to teach, establish the kind of machinery and factories. I also have to keep a lookout for climate, because this stuff contains a lot of lead and other harmful chemicals, how they are to be trapped and not released into the air. If it is tanneries, I'd go to Italy and bring in people who know how to make leather to the best quality. After all, leather is leather, but they transform it because of their knowledge of tanning and design as well. So in each aspect, there is need for international collaboration so that you don't try to reinvent the wheel. Of course, in things like zari making and sari embroidery and so on, we are the best. We can teach others should they want our help. So over there, what you want to do is give them ample modern facilities. You don't want to disrupt what is traditional knowledge in a family. You want to give them all the wherewithal to do it better. Most of these people suffer from lack of finance, lack of machinery, lack of, if you like, logistical backup, electricity, water, all this. Now, you can provide all this very easily if you put your mind to it, and as the country prospers, as the state prospers.
Right. Gautam, one final question before I let you go. Obviously, we have heard Prime Minister at least twice now that the country would be made the third largest economy in the world, and Prime Minister has promised that is not very far away also. Now, in your opinion, obviously, a country is made through states, and a strong state and a strong center is what delivers. Now, in your opinion, what key factors should India keep in mind as of now, involving all the states, that this target of becoming the third largest economy is achieved?
As to the facts that we are the fifth largest, we are soon going to be the fourth largest. Everybody believes this because it has happened. And when that happens, aspirationally, the country becomes united and starts believing that this is going to take place. And the need or the feeling that, oh, this is not real, it's propaganda, that goes away. You want to participate and project yourself into a country that is going to be the third largest economy in the world. You are hopeful for your children and grandchildren. In other words, you become a stakeholder. And when you become a stakeholder, you own the place and you don't try to wreck it anymore.
Right. Gautam, thank you so much for speaking to us, and also thanks to Shantanu Gupta, author, for speaking to us and sharing his views on the path to progress of our Uttar Pradesh and how several states, state by state, the contribution that is being made in the upliftment of the country. That's what counts and that's what matters. Thank you so much for watching this special broadcast on the state of Uttar Pradesh. We'll be bringing you more such states, the path to progress, the merits, and what needs to be done to give the much needed fillip to that particular state. Thanks for watching this broadcast.
GPT. It can generate codes and human-like responses through text, write stories, and do a lot more.
I work in a newsroom with anchors, researchers and scriptwriters, graphic artists, producers, video editors, camera crew. But does a newsroom really need them today?
All of us have to think about unique and distinctive value addition that cannot be automated or repeated or replaced by a machine.
ChatGPT may kill many companies.
A human has to be in the loop with an ability to control this.
Dark Side of the Boom. Streaming now.
मैं इमरान अहमद खान नियाजी सबके दिल से हल्फ उठाता हूँ.
When Imran Khan came initially into politics, he thought his personal popularity would be sufficient for him. It didn't happen.
The retired military generals are openly saying that Imran Khan is a better choice.
Imran Khan may have bitten a bit too much, more than what he can chew.
Implosion. This and more. Streaming on world's first news OTT. News9 Plus. Download now.
इंजीनियरिंग कर रहे हैं क्योंकि सभी लोग कर रहे हैं.
Coaching is now starting from grade 3, 4, 5, 6.
होता जाने वाली बीच राह में आधे टेस्ट देके हैं सिलेक्शन की चाह में.
ऑल इंडिया का बच्चा कोटा जाता है.
This rat race is for rats, not for humans. So why should we even be a part of it?
The Rat Race. This and more streaming on world's first news OTT. News9 Plus. Download now. BrahMos. Stealthy, lethal, precise. It flies at 3 times the speed of sound and cuts through a warship like a hot knife through butter. China's navy has threatened its neighbors, and they are turning to the BrahMos for protection. The warship killer. This and more streaming on world's first news OTT. News9 Plus. Download now.
Pakistan is actually genociding Baloch people. So being Baloch is a crime. If you are a Baloch, it means in the eyes of Pakistan, you don't have any right to live.
The Chinese and Pakistanis are colonizing the Baloch and exploiting their resources.
The Baloch armed struggle will continue unless China withdraws, the Pakistan military withdraws from Balochistan and give Baloch complete authority to decide for themselves.
The Baloch feel that if they don't act now, they will become marginalized.
What lies ahead for Balochistan?
Balochistan, Bangladesh 2.0, streaming now.
Ruthless, ambitious, manipulative, powerful. That's how the world knows Xi Jinping. And he's got even more powerful now. What drives China's supreme leader? He's the man who has threatened to annex Taiwan. He has torn up 30 years of border agreements with India. He wants to make China the biggest player in the history of the world by 2048. But what is Xi Jinping thinking? What shaped him? What's made him the most feared Chinese leader since Mao Zedong? A few key events in his childhood shaped his personality. When she was 10, the Chinese Communist Party purged his father, Mao's trusted